It's Rob the Rat Catcher. Hello, Rob.
Good morning.
Right, this is a video that is brilliant, but I'm going to do little pauses on it, yeah, and add my 2 pet tuppence to it, yeah. It's like 57 minutes long, but I'm going to put my 2 tuppence in on each piece and explain it, yeah, because most of this is to do with Freemasonry, yeah. And again, you know, you've got to be able to think, you know, people don't realise that's like when I saw, like yesterday, the protests and that, yeah. You look at the people that are putting on the entertainment, because that's what that is. They entertain you, yeah. You know, you got the stage, you got a band, you got this, that, and the other. If you do the research into that, yeah, you know, who's putting the stage, or, you know, like the big lorry, you know, and then you get a couple of dancers come out, you know, and they were waving British flags and things like this. If you do the research into who owns that, you'll actually find it's the Freemasons. So all you're doing every time is paying the Freemasons for their vans. Do you see what I mean? And then the people up on the stage who are doing the talking, yeah, all they're doing is entertaining you. Do you see what I mean? And that's it. Then you all go home and you all presume these people that spoke on the stage are doing something about today's situation, regardless of what it is, and the corruption, but they're not. Do you know what I mean? They're all staged people put there by Freemasons, or you wouldn't be allowed to do that. If you, let's put it this way, if things were really happening and there was a situation that was being done about these people, yeah, people will be murdered, people will be getting killed, and that's what's happened through history, yeah. But obviously they're not going to front it, but they will entertain you. Bread and circuses all day long. But there's a few other pieces I'll pick up on as I go through the video, because I can't remember everything. That's like I was in London yesterday, that Tommy Robson thing, yeah. And as I come over the bridge, there was 2 men there, yeah, and they did a street thing. I got it taped, obviously, and I've recorded them, who they were. But I bet they're part of the criminality of Freemasonry, yeah, because they go, oh, we want him stabbed, yeah. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. See, I get that street theatre all the time, you see. Well, I still went anyway, whether I was going to get stabbed or not. You know what I mean? That's the difference of it. Do you know what I mean? If they stab me and kill me, that's great, because at the end of the day, they pull all these people here, all these Freemasons, they're going to be under arrest, you know what I mean? And we're going to make sure that there's no Freemasons investigating the case, do you know what I mean? So when they're pulled in, they're really under investigation, not fucking by a bunch of Freemasons that ain't going to do nothing, do you know what I mean? And like I said, their first line of defence is the police that turn up, and then they turn up at your door and they go, oh, we've got not enough evidence and that, and they see if you swallow that, do you know what I mean? And if you swallow that, go, oh, they got enough, no evidence, then you just go around going, oh, they got no evidence, they got none of this, and they go, oh, and they've got away with it again, you see what I mean? That's part of what they do in their system, do you see what I mean? And you swallow it. If you don't, if you're not swallowing it and you're a bit hedgy on it, yeah, they'll bring a woman in. If you're a man, they'll bring a woman in. You see what I mean? And vice versa. They try and peer pressure you into not pressing charges, or there's not a case to answer to. Do you see what I mean? And that's what they do. You know, if it's a high ranking Freemason, so you go, oh, and there's not enough evidence, so you walk around. You know, and obviously some of you that are listening to this will know what I'm talking about, yeah, because you've gone through it, yeah. And they'll say there's not enough, you know, there's not enough evidence. And if you swallow it and go, that's okay, yeah, they know you don't push that forward, then they've got away with it. Do you see what I mean? Now, if that don't work and it just goes forward, and you know, obviously they've got evidence, blah blah, and it gets down to the police station, they're getting bail anyway, because their brother, who runs the police station, the high-ranking officer, will give them bail anyway. And while they're on bail, they'll be looking at ways for a policeman to stitch the case up, hide some evidence, do you know what I mean? And all the other bits and pieces. Anyway, I better put this in. No. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying now. Put me right off. Yeah. So, as they go to the police station, their friends in there will be trying to screw up the evidence, yeah? So when it gets to court, there's no evidence, right? That's the first line of defence. Even when it gets to the court, they go to court, the judge or the magistrate is going to give them bail, do you see what I mean? And that's their third line of defence, if I got that right. And then even if they get put in prison, they know that they control the parole boards. They've also got prison officers that will help them, like give them tobacco, open their cell doors, you know what I mean, so they're not behind their cells so much, you know what I mean. I've seen all of that, so you know that you can't tell me that don't happen. I've seen a Masonic lodge fucking meeting, yeah, and I didn't know what it was at the particular time, actually happen in the chapel on A wing in fucking Norwich years ago. I even see a geezer come on the wing and give the 5 points, yeah. And then when the guy banged up with me, I didn't know he was a Freemason at the particular time, yeah. The guy opened the cell door for him and give him a load of tobacco. Do you see what I mean? Because he was a Freemason and a brother, you know. And I've mentioned him in other videos. That the actual prison guard, yeah, he was actually going out in town with some of the bouncers, yeah. There was a police officer, a career, you know, selling drugs and that, yeah. But he was out celebrating with them. Do you see what I mean? You know. I could go more into what other things I see of this crowd. You know, I've sort of investigated them, researched them anyway, but that's another story. But you know, this goes on, you know, and they've got all them layers of defence against everyone. Do you know what I mean? It don't matter who you're, profane, yeah. They've got all these clever, you know, they're clever, very astute people that know how to manipulate the system so they get away with it. Do you know what I mean? And that's what they do all the time, get away with it. You know, and when they go, oh, Epstein died or whatever, or what happened to Epstein, yeah, they just replaced him like they did with, you know, when they used to hang people, you know, the guy would come out, they go, right, play up, right? That's the Freemason. They go, play up, kick, scream, do whatever. So they take him out. Everyone in the galley sees him, yeah, kicking and screaming, punching and fucking whatever. So what they then do, they drag him back through the door, yeah, and when he goes back through the door, they swap him out. They put a blind, like a hood over the man, yeah, you know, the one they're swapping in, a hood, yeah, tie the geezer up, right? It doesn't matter if he's kicking and screaming, which he will anyway, because he's now going to get hanged, or he maybe doesn't even realise it, yeah. They say, you know, hood him up, yeah. And then the Freemason gets sent to America or another country to disappear. Yeah, and the profane man then gets dragged through to the gallows, yeah, in front of everyone. They don't know. They think that's the same bloke, okay, because it's been the same sort, you know, given the same sort of body, the same sort of uniform, yeah, and then he's hanged. Do you know what I mean? And the people in the galley think, oh, you know, the man who's guilty of it has been killed, but he hasn't. He's on a ship to, like, America. Do you see what I mean? And that's the cover-ups they do. You see what I mean? That's gone back in the day, that is. And they still do that today. You know, Epstein dead? No, I don't think so. I think they changed and he's living somewhere else. You know what I mean? They got it. How do you know? You know what I mean? There's so many places for putting people. It's unreal. Do you know what I mean? Where they can live in peace, you know, have like surgical alterations and things like that. You know what I mean? And I think they do that, you know, and again, it's just replaced by another person. You know, they just keep replacing. Don't matter who goes into power. You know, Tony Blair, which you'll hear in a minute about, you know, because I obviously watched the video a little bit. You know, Freemason, Tony Blair, Freemason. They talk about the police, they're Freemasons. They talk about the foster carers, they're Freemasons, because that's big money. All lodges, you know, all children's homes are either called lodges or compass. You know what I mean? Do the research, it's there, you know. But you try and get to a frontline policeman behind that, what they're now going to show you, that's the first line of defence. You know what I mean? He's doing the cover up. He'll try and get you and persuade you to go away, because it's all about time consuming. You know, we can keep this going, time, delay, and in them times and delays, yeah, hopefully they hope you get killed, you die, or you're murdered. Do you know what I mean? Or killed by an accident. You see what I mean? But it's all about time and delay. So long as they go on and on and on, and they know when if they can delay, even if it's for 50 years, everything's gone. Do you see what I mean? They can just squash it and it's gone. Do you see what I mean? There's no one talking about it no more. No one's playing up. And again, it's all about isolation cases. So I just know about these people here talking, okay, right? But there's fucking hundreds and thousands of people going through the same situations. And I know there is. Do you know what I mean? You know, I've got, I'll just say, like, some people in Scotland that are, you know, going on about, you know, the children that are being pimped out, you know what I mean, to buy career criminals, do you know what I mean? And no one's doing nothing. The police are not doing anything, do you know what I mean? That's the thing, you see what I mean? Because it serves the the Freemasons society and the nation that live amongst us, it serves them a purpose. Do you see what I mean? And keep that chaos going. You know, same as the Tommy Robson rally. You know, all that did was serve the police. Do you know what I mean? No one else. But they get you thinking, oh, it does you good. It does nothing. Do you know what I mean? It does nothing. All they've done is just entertained you, entertained everyone, allowed everyone to put another 100,000 videos up going here, showing themselves at the rally. Do you see what I mean? But nothing's been done, and it never will be done, because the people at the top don't investigate themselves, you know what I mean? And they put players in front of you that entertain you, and you believe that things are being done, but nothing has ever been done. Anyway, let's go, and like I said, I'll pause some of this.
How are you, young man?
I'm very well.
It's nice to have you back in the studio. I gather that you were very nearly put in prison.
Yeah, very nearly. Fortunately for myself, the judge in this case, which is now my third judge, has actually seen, I believe, what the truth is, and he's not overly happy. So hopefully he will see the truth for what it is, and he will take the appropriate steps.
Fantastic. We have on the line somewhere in the country, on the run, in his van, the one and only Gary Waterman. Gary, welcome back to the show.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks very much for letting me chat to you again, Richard.
And it's an absolute pleasure. Now, we have to put headphones on, which is why I'm looking like a Cyberman.
Now, Gary Waterman, check him out. He's right good in... See, we need more investigation and more people doing this, yeah? Because once you get into it and investigate behind anything, you'll find Freemasonry. And all they're doing, they're not wearing their aprons. They're hiding behind civil uniforms and civil suits, you know, of policemen, social services, any suit that has authority. They're using their Masonic aprons behind that suit, behind that uniform, to get what they want. And that's your children. Do you know what I mean? In all of it, you know, they want to sell the drugs, and they're working with the gangs, you know, like 1%ers, scooter gangs, all of that. They're working with career criminals, yeah, to keep the chaos going. Do you know what I mean? They're working in hand. If they weren't working with them, yeah, they would be getting killed like they do in, you know, in America and Mexico and all the rest of it. Do you know what I mean? That's what you'd be living with now, but they don't want that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, they have to look like it's police, it's civil. Because if the police were really doing something, like that guy who just got killed, I think he killed a career criminal, yeah. Now he has to go on the run for his own life, okay, because they're after him. And that's what happens if you go after the real people. They come after you, and your life is in danger. Do you see what I mean? I know my life's in danger. I'm not stupid, but they're not stupid enough to write me off. Because then, like I said, the first thing that'll happen, it'll be a Masonic Freemason investigation, and they don't want that. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, I'm not stupid. I know who they are, what they are, and I name them, I shame them, and they're all across my board. Do you know what I mean? They're rapists and nonces and perverts. Do you know what I mean? And your local drug dealers. Do you know what I mean? That have killed many a family, destroyed many families in here. You know, and that's enough maybe to raise it, where people are going to go boom and start putting it on them. Do you know what I mean? And I'm talking about some of you top rankers, not the fucking little boys. Do you know what I mean? You know, I'm not scared to, there's nothing in my house, you can come and get. There's no evidence here. You know what I mean? I'm not that stupid. I know what you Freemasons are like. But, I'm not scared to use a GPS on a car, do you know what I mean? Shit like that, and see where it takes me or where it takes them. And then I go find out. But more to the point is, this is what you need. You need more investigators within your towns, within your communities. It's not about 10 down the street. It's not about the White House. It's not about all them places around the world. It's about your own community and eradicating the corruption, yeah? And the people controlling that corruption are the criminals. Do you know what I mean? That's all that runs your towns and city, are the criminals. But they look like respectable people. But they're Epsteins. They're your Savills. They're your Al Capones. They're your Mia Lansky's. They all them, the Cray twins and all that. And you look into the Cray twins, they were caught in bed with like 14-year-old boys and shit like that. You see what I mean? That's where it all comes from. Like the Red Rooms, with Brian Harvey. Look into it. Who do you think controlled the doors? And they didn't know about it. The doorman, the security firm on that were in control of the Red Rooms, which again, the doorman and the people that run our clubs and our pubs, yeah, that buy these places, yeah, are all criminals. You see what I mean? But they're allowed to do that. You know what I mean? I could go more into it, but this is what we're doing here. I'm going to pause it sometimes. Hopefully, when it gets to the information I need, I will play it and then I'll tell you and I'll talk about it, okay? Or I might just run it through. I don't know. We'll let it go.
We haven't got enough headphones to go around, but thank you so much, Gary, for coming on and being able to comment throughout the show. So,
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Lovely to see you. So there's been a lot going on, Rob. Can you explain what has been going on and what we need to talk about in this show?
Through my 51 months of investigations, I have been uncovering, not to the same extent as Gary, but the same information as Gary. He's came to it from a different source, but I've came to the same conclusion, same evidence, and same people are involved. But having said that, it is now a national and global concern in regards to the children that are being actually taken and sold, believe it or not, which is 100% true, and we can prove that as we go along.
So you sold?
Yes, they are being sold.
Just to outline then what's going on.
If you look in the United Kingdom, children are being sold for £40,000 per child. And if you look across the pond into America, they're being sold for $40,000. And it's happening globally around the world in regards to the cabal, if people want to call it that, or the WHO and the WEF. They're all corrupted. They're all highly, highly satanic. And we are uncovering it slowly but surely.
And what's happening to these children when they've been sold? Where are they being, and who are they being sold to? What can we say without actually making the channel suddenly vanish?
Yeah, well, I don't want to upset certain people.
Well, I'll say, because I don't care, they can take my, they can take my channel. I don't give a shit. They can take my Facebook. They can take whatever they want. But the evidence, what I say, is there, and it goes up on torrent sites, I don't know if you know torrents or not, but that's an illegal, where they, you download, you get a Hollywood film and then you upload it to other people so they can download it like a pirate station. That's what I use, to share my information. I do it on Demonoid, I do it on all of them, Pirate Bay. So, I can hit them audiences that they don't get taken down, because they're torrent sites and they're pirates, as pirates, basically, and they serve illegal, whatever, films. Again, you can come to my house, guys, you policemen, there's nothing here, you'll find nothing worth taking that'll give you any evidence that'll prosecute me. But even if it did, the first thing I'll be talking about down the police station is, are you a Freemason? Is your chief inspector a Freemason? What are my chances of bail? There's a big conflict of interest, Why are you not investigating the Freemasons within this town that are corrupt career criminals and selling drugs? Do you know what I mean? But that's another story, my profane friends, Because where they want me is, they've talked about putting, like I said, making an accident of me, Yesterday, like I said, I got that beautiful fit where they said they want to stab me, put a knife in me, knock me off my motorbike and all that. That's the sort of things I go with, and I have to live with. I've lived with that a long time. But anyway, like I said, I forgot. But the investigation, see, there's two separate cases, and it all leads to the same people, at the high levels, But you ain't got, like I said, these people have gone to the extreme. I don't. I investigate local level. If you investigate the local level, you got the same people. Your MPs. You know what I mean? And your people that represent you within your town and city. Like we've got someone who represents Galston. We've got someone who represents Bradwell. We've got someone who represents Caister. Our local divisions. Maglan Estate. Shrublands Estate, You've got people that represents each piece, but you'll find, they all work for the Masonic Lodge, you know what I mean? And then you've got your businessmen that owns the shops and the leases, you see what I mean? And it's crazy, you know what I mean? Once you investigate your local people, and they all congregate at the same places. It's all amazing, really, if you investigate it, and these people, they're just corrupt to the nines, you know what I mean? Like I said, I could go back 30 years and it's still the same people, not one interest by the police. They've had not one interest, you know what I mean, where they've been looked at and thought, they're dodgy or anything, do you know what I mean? And they've been allowed to get away with it for years and years and years because they own the land, because they own important businesses to the infrastructure of Great Yarmouth and things like that, you know. But anyway, I'll let it carry on. I'll talk a bit more, you know.
Well, in the information that we've currently got, some of the children are being, well, I'm not going to say actually, they're being poorly treated, let's say that, but there are other satanic things happening in regards to the children. I don't really want to go into too much in depth. I don't think your audience is ready for that yet.
So, Gary, can you add any more to this? Because you're a former policeman and you have, I suppose, a different method of exploring these types of allegations. Being as I say, being a policeman, you would have had certain training to do this.
Yeah, well, I think really I've come on here today to really express how systematic this problem really is. All of the evidence that I'm seeing is very apparent that this is a real systematic problem that links through to the fraud, politicians, government organisations, the heads of those organisations, their special advisors for the prime ministers even linked through to this, the banks. It's just so systematic, and I can give you some examples of some of the recent evidence that's being uncovered.
Fantastic. Okay.
And by the banks, let me show you a good example, right, of the banks, right? We'll go with NatWest, all right? Watch this. Because like I said, when you know, in my videos, if you look, you know, if you go to a bank and want a loan, whether you're getting that loan or not depends on the people within the lodge. Do you know what I mean? Whether you go in direct competition with the local Freemasons within your town, you see what I mean? Whether you're going to get that. And even if they give you that, they know in the future they can screw you over and take your business. Do you know what I mean? If they need to, they control it. That's what I'm saying. They control every aspect. You know what I mean? Whether it's the lease, you know, they'll sell the lease to someone else, say, oh, I'm having to sell the lease, I've got no money, give you that cock and bull story. And then you've got to rely on the other person selling you the lease or giving you the lease. You see what I mean? They do all sorts of trickery like that, you know, but they get you and screw you over in all options and all different ways. Now, let's look at this NatWest, right? Do you understand the symbol? Oh, sorry. Let me see if I can push that in. Do you understand the symbolism of this? This is NatWest, okay? You've got 3 Masonic cubes of Saturn, all right, which is the perfect ashlar. We're the rough ashlars. We're nobody. We're without the temple. But as you go into the temple, you get smoothed out, yeah? And then you become the perfect ashlar, which is the 6 sides. Look, it's a cube, 6 sides. So you've got 3 cubes, 6 sides, 6, 6, 6. You see, obviously it's in the shape of a pyramid. You see what I mean? Masonic. Through and through, you see what I mean? But it's Luciferian, you see what I mean? 6, 6, 6. Do you see what I mean? And that's how they put it through all the time. Do you see what I mean? And then these cubes make into other things. I could go into it, but you know, that's just the basics of it anyway. Okay, there you got it. 3 Masonic cubes, 6 sides, 6, 6, 6, and that's the Luciferian people you're dealing with within the banks. Do you know what I mean? And again, it goes to the lords, the dukes and the earls. You know, I'm the king of England. I'll send my brothers to look after Norfolk, Suffolk and Wessex. Do you see what I mean? And my sisters can look after, you know, do you know what I mean? Right? And then as they're looking after the Norfolk, the county of Norfolk, Suffolk and Wessex, I'll just keep it simple. I'll keep it Norfolk and Suffolk. So my 2 brothers are looking after Norfolk, the county of Norfolk, and that's the United States as well, because they, you know, they went over there. Anyone that conquered any lands or anything like that, the presence of Freemasonry is the toppermost. Yeah, they're the ones that want the gold, want the coal, want the oil. Do you know what I mean? Want the land. You know, you look at cowboys and Indians, you know what I mean? They're Freemasons all amongst them. Do you know what I mean? And all it was Masonic lodges fighting, do you know what I mean? And wiping each other out, families, yeah? You know, and it's all go down to, again, the banners and the heraldry of families, do you know what I mean? And call to arms, come and help my banner, you know, and all that, you know, crap. But I forgot where I was going with this now. Oh, yeah, so my brothers are looking after the county in my interest, Norfolk and Suffolk, and then their families, yeah, that then look after the cities, yeah, and the towns, and then their families then look after the businesses and the law and the governance of the towns and the cities. Do you see what I mean? So the people that run that, like, would meet, say, once a year, and then the people who run the towns would meet every 6 months. You see what I mean? The ones who run the businesses would then meet every monthly, and that's how it runs. Do you know what I mean? And they keep that flow going all the time. Do you know what I mean? And that's how it is. And the Profane, all you do is consume and consumpts all their products, yeah, because that's all their products anyway. Anything you buy, whether it's a telly or a sideboard or a bloody chair or a carpet or curtains, it's all Masonically run and owned by Freemasons. Do you see what I mean? And that's what it is. All the land is owned by them. Everything you do, it don't matter what, like I said, when they do their protest, that all the vans that turn up and the staging, the lighting and all the rest of it, you look at behind that, go up to the person, say, who's your company? And then you research the company, it leads to the Freemasons. Do you see what I mean? They run it all. They entertain you and show you where you go. Do you know what I mean? That's it. You know what I mean? It don't matter what it is. They're earning money all the time from you. And all they do is just stall, delay. Do you know what I mean? And so long as you keep going, like these guys now that are talking, yeah, the 3 guys here, say in 50 years, say they're passed away and gone, who's going to take the place? Do you see what I mean? They know that, you know, but before that, they try and put you in jail. They try and give you an accident. They murder you. Do you see what I mean? And this is what Freemasons has done for centuries. Do you know what I mean? Killing, maiming and hurting people. You know, not just that way. They'll do, for instance, you know, if you're married, they'll get someone to have an affair with your wife, so then you go through a divorce, so you ain't got time to think about them. Do you see what I mean? That's what they do. They stall, so they'll send someone to have an affair with you, or someone to have an affair with your wife. They look for that weak point. Do you see what I mean? Or they'll try and get you on drugs, or your child on drugs. Do you know what I mean? Anything to get at you and attack you that distracts you away from looking and investigating them, and that's what they do. Anyway, I'll allow it go again.
Well, we've got some bits and bobs to talk about. You've got various information to put onto the screen, plus a video to show. We also have 2 lovely ladies who are going to talk about their plight, their children having been, what would you say, kidnapped, stolen?
Yeah, taken by the state, illegally, unlawfully.
So where do we start then with?
And again, right, when they're kidnapping the children, it's actually a perk for the lodge, yeah? Now, you've got people who can't have a child, yeah? It's not only that, it's money as well, yeah? Money generates into it. You can displace a child very quickly if the parents come under an accident or they get drugged up or whatever, yeah. And this is all manipulated in this way, yeah. Remember, you're dealing with Satanists and satanic people here, yeah. They don't give 2 monkeys about your children or you. Do you know what I mean? This is what you're dealing with, these people. And it's all about getting your child for, these rituals if they can. And like I said, if you've got a child, yeah, say the parents have died for some reason, he's got no one, this child. Right, he goes to a children's home that's called a lodge. Everyone running that children's home is a Masonic Freemason. Do you see what I mean? The women and the men, yeah, Eastern Star Freemasons, right? So they're there. They're going out. They look at the child for a week, yeah. There's other children there. It don't matter to them. It don't matter. When the child moves on to another lodge or gets moved to another area, like a state or a county, the children in there go, oh, where'd he go? Oh, he's gone to that lodge now. And then boom, boom. I know, because I've been in children's homes myself, yeah. And when the child moved or went, you never saw him no more. Do you know what I mean? Whoever they were or whatever they were, and if they said, oh, he went back to his parents, you swallow that anyway. Whatever story, again, it's that story they give and you swallow it because it's believable. They're not going to say anything else. That's what you expect them to say to you. You see what I mean? They go, oh, he's moved on to his parents have come and got him. Yeah, he's sorted. He's gone back home, or he's moved to another, children's home. Yeah, doesn't matter. Even when he moves to the new children's home anyway. Yeah, so then that's run by Freemasons and Eastern Stars, and he moves again. And then in this meantime, these people are like think tanks. They're thinking, how can we lose the paperwork or whatever? And the paperwork gets covered up. Like, evidence gets stolen out of evidence lockers and all the rest of it. The same thing happens in these children homes, yeah? And the child then kind of gets isolated. say like put into punishment. Yeah, you're staying in this room, that room. Doesn't know what's going on, obviously, but they do, because the more isolated and the less people that see that child, the less that child is remembered by people. Do you see what I mean? Yeah, and that's what it's about. Do you see what I mean? Even when it gets put, say, with foster parents, yeah, the foster parents don't take it out. They keep it like secluded in the. Oh God, keep it. You know what I mean? But that's how it is. That, you know, that's how they look at it. You know, whatever. You know, it doesn't matter. What concerns them is isolating it from people, so no one sees the child. You see what I mean? So it's forgotten in memory by everyone, you know. So it'll go from the children's home to a foster parent for a foster children's house, and then it's isolated within that house, so no one sees it. They keep it in the house, then it's moved again to another house. You see what I mean? And then it'll go somewhere in the country. You know what I mean? And they'll even keep, you know, like I said, they use these children as a you know, they can be in that system for years, 3-4 years. Yeah, and if no one comes searching for that child or looking for that child, and even if they do, they can replace it with another child anyway, because they don't know. Do you see what I mean? They use all these trickeries. Do you know what I mean? But so long as the child disappears into the system, then it can go into satanic ritual abuse. It can become a you know, a baby factory for this. You know, they've got baby factories and all the rest of it. You know, like I said, in my own town hall, there's all women's refuge, yeah, with their children above the where the tunnels were under the town hall, and they had a step ladder going up into these, whether these women were Eastern Star, you know, or whatever, but no one talks about it, you know. It's all hushed up. But there's tunnels, and I've done videos on it. Just look up the Masonic tunnels in Great Yarmouth. But you know, there's tunnels there. There's a trapdoor. The trapdoor's still there. That leads into the houses there, and all them houses connected above and below. Do you see what I mean? But that all went to the, you know, the town hall, where all the dignitaries in suits and civil servants and all that, all, you know, played their Masonic rituals and did their parties. Do you see what I mean? They still party there today. They're all Freemasons. You know what I mean? Like I said, I've done the research. But that's, you know, why would they have women who needed refuge, yeah, living in these houses above what had trapdoors down into the secret tunnels that led to the town hall? You see what I mean? But it's all been blocked off now. You know, so what, you know, that's questionable. But remember, as I said, during the war, the Freemasons were making tunnels, yeah, because they were going to do, because if the Germans would have invaded, they were going to be doing, you know, like the V.O.M.I.Ts did. They did all the tunnels, and if you don't know how vast their tunnels are, do a little bit of research on Vietnam and the tunnels they made, you know, in their war, because they were doing guerrilla warfare. They had them all made in Great Britain. Do you know what I mean? Across the whole of the UK, they were digging tunnels, making like war rooms, places where men could sleep in bunk beds and all the rest of it. So if you get a little idea of what was going on in, well, while the Vietnamese and all of that did that, yeah, while they were being bombed and it was warfare, they did the same in the UK. Do you know what I mean? And all the Freemasons were digging the tunnels and everything else ready for when Hitler invaded the UK. Do you know what I mean? So there was like, you know, so they had all these trenches underground and all these, you know, where they could spring up and pop up anywhere they wanted across the UK. You know, the research is there, but what they're using them tunnels for now, yeah, is drug running, child trafficking and everything else. Like I said, just do the research. Anyway, I'll go a little bit more, you know, like I said, I'm just going to interrupt in each of this video, but you can watch it. I'll put a link with the video and I'll put that up as well. So you can watch it fully. But here it is, police corruption and child abduction, Richard V.O.M.I.Ts, just look it up. But again, like I said, they've got these tunnels, and you know, when you can connect it all, you know, you can see the whole satanic, you know, system and the way they use it against us. Do you know what I mean? It's just crazy. You know, look at the army I'm up against in my own town. Hundreds of men that are Freemasons, yeah, that use me as a perjured individual. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, and I'm talking about gangsters that are drug dealers. They don't give a shit. They've killed many a person here and children here in this town. You know what I mean? What has been said and done about it? Nothing. Because the people in control of that are Freemasons. But anyway, I'll carry on, baby.
This, Rob.
So if we play the 3-minute video along, this is an example of Hampshire Police and their attitude towards the members of the public, and also their attitude towards the children who are in need and who are being abused.
Okay, so just set up the video. This is one of the ladies, Kerry, coming into a police station to report the serious crime of her child being stolen.
Yeah, this is Airport Services Road Investigation Centre in Portsmouth. It's the only full-time police station in Portsmouth. The other one's part-time. And this is one of the inquiry officers who is absolutely beyond belief. And how he keeps his job is beyond me, to be honest.
Brilliant. Okay, so we'll watch this 3-minute video and just see how earnestly this young, eager policeman writes down the information about this terrible situation, or not.
Shut up about it. It was because some of your officers from Hampshire Constabulary are the ones that are complicit in it.
Right.
So, because, hang on a minute, I've got the videos on here.
That's the way
I've got the videos.
Just you go to the police.
No, I'm not complaining, I'm reporting crimes. I've got the videos on here where PC Cass...
Sorry?
You're fully aware of what police complaints department said to you, how to contact the police?
I am?
Yeah.
What have I got to do with it?
Well, you've been told, well, you're here, aren't you?
So, what's that got to do with
You
it?
brought the lady in.
What's that got to do with anything?
Well, it's got a lot to do with it.
Has it?
Yeah.
You've got a real bad attitude,
Exactly.
mister. You've got a real bad
Peter
attitude.
McGinley.
I have.
You have got a real
You
bad
actually
attitude.
have.
You've had an attitude since we came through the door.
Yeah.
We've never had a problem in here except from here today for you.
Really?
You were told that we were writing down her personal information so that you didn't have it on record, and you said it.
You said everybody here
Yeah.
knows her. So
What's that got to do with you?
These
What's that
people
got to do with
know
you?
Sorry.
What's it got to do with
Why
you?
you got the attitude?
Yeah, there we go. Hide behind the screen and we won't deal with you. Have we ever caused a problem in here? Have we really? Ever caused a problem in here? But your attitude is
Oh,
vile.
you're just telling me you're not going to take down the serious crimes. That my child has reported that he is being...
From your t-shirts, obviously there's an issue going on. Okay.
What's my t-shirt got to do with it?
Well, because obviously that's your children. I'd assume that's your children.
Well, again, this is... Do you know what's got people in this mess? Is presumptions and assumptions.
And people
as
that with pre-recorded, preconceived ideas in your head about people.
I'll deal with people how I...
You're in the wrong job,
What
mate.
did I
You're
come
in the
and
wrong
do?
job.
What did I come in and do? So if you perceive people how you find them, I'm perceiving you as I find you. When you're the one that works for the public. And I've come here reporting serious things that my children are being harmed and abused, and you're not even going to listen to it. Now, my children aren't babies. So if you actually spoke to them, they would tell you themselves they're 12 and 13. You're reading nonsense. That's the whole point. And that is what I keep getting. I phone 101. You read a load of nonsense lies that have been put there by the officers that stole my children in the first place. Because they did. Because I have a video here where PC Cass didn't even know why she was taking my children. I also have a video where the police, another police officer says, this was pre-planned. They pre-planned it. Meaning the social worker. Now, if you do know the law then, the social worker would have had to go to the court and go and get an order before she came and removed any children. So she didn't. So that's a crime in itself. So why are you not taking it?
He's not taking it because he's got an attitude. He's got a chip the size of the bloody Rock of Gibraltar on his shoulder.
No.
What's me being here got anything to do with you?
Biggest chip going.
No, what's me being here got anything to do with you? Nothing. So, keep your opinions to yourself and do your job. You're not here to make opinions. You're here to take statements, so take them.
No. You're not going to get any joy from me.
Well, we knew that at the start. I could have told you that before we even come in.
So you're not going to get any joy from me. That was the attitude of that officer. Let's just go back to Gary there. I mean...
And again, this is what you get when you get to the front desk, yeah? And I've had this many times myself, you know. That's like if I went there now with my, you know, like my police symbolism and ask them why they got the satanic 3 boxes on the side of the police station, yeah, I don't get any replies or answers to that. You know what I mean? They give you, come back later, this, that, and the other, and you know you get the runaround. You know what I mean? And this is what they do. Again, look, there's your 3 Masonic cubes for the bank. Yeah. Now watch this. Look for the. Well, just go watch my Masonic police symbolism, you know, video, and again you can see. Look, great, great Yarmouth. police station. And I want to get it in because, you know, because obviously it takes, some people don't go and investigate and they think, oh, you're talking rubbish. Oh, yeah. Right, I want the big side of the, not that side, I want the other side. Where's my block? If it comes in, But all of that, just the normal police symbolism. Oh, you ain't coming in, what's going on? Right, let's see if I can get it through this way, hopefully. Where's the side of it? It's not giving me. See what I mean? Why is it gone? Have they took it because I used it? I don't know. Right there, 4, 5, 4. No, it's 3, 5. But you can see the Masonic cubes on there, just the simple 323. See, which represents the 666, yeah? But you'll have to watch my Masonic police symbolism. For some reason, the side of the... Now, normally when I put in Great Yarmouth Police Station, I get the side of that building and it never ever gives me anything else. Why it's not coming up now, I don't know. But if I just go to the UK, look at the police symbolism sign there. Look, see the square and compass? Look, see 323 makes square and compass, and then right in the middle you got 232, which is the Masonic cube. But why it's not coming up, I don't know. But let's go back on with the video anyway.
When you're reporting a crime, no matter what you're wearing and who else is in the room with you, you're reporting a crime. Why would that man not take down the details, do you suppose?
Well, he should be. The whole thing is clearly a cover-up, Richard. This is what I'm finding from every angle. They don't want the truth to be exposed in this. And that is because it appears that our whole governance is controlled through this fraud and its associated child trafficking and child abuse. It goes right down from the top, right the way down through to heads of organisations. I mean, an example of some of the things I'm finding out. So I'm doing a document on Rishi Sunak himself at the moment, and he links very quickly through to Jeffrey Epstein's associated companies through the evidential links in the documents in Companies House. Another example is I'm just giving you some examples of how deep-rooted and systematic this really is. So the Lucy Letby case that it's currently going through court, so I can't say too much. But the doctors surrounding that case that initiated the police investigation into Lucy Letby link very quickly through to Ghislaine Maxwell and Robert Maxwell and therefore Jeffrey Epstein. It's these doctors, they studied at Oxford University. They link to Cancer Research UK that we've all heard of. On the Cancer Research incorporation document is a company called Farrer and Co. Ghislaine Maxwell's companies had that very same company on her incorporation documents for some of her companies. And Ghislaine Maxwell and Robert Maxwell lived in Oxford. They lived in a 53-room mansion in Oxford. There's all these connections, but we'll focus. I mean, there's some other things on there that relate to the vaccine company as well, but we'll focus on the child concern element. Yesterday, I was asked to look into a particular organisation that may be able to help with the children that I'm looking at. I looked at one of the trustees for that company, and immediately they had links to a company called Bates, Wells and Braithwaite, and also the London Law Agency. One of those is definitely a false entity company involved in the fraud, and both of them are actually connected very quickly through to the child trafficking, including Max Clifford and Jeffrey Epstein. And you know, this is one example, and it also links through to the Madeleine McCann case. Bates, Wells and Braithwaite is a company linked very closely through to companies surrounding Madeleine McCann, and that links very closely to Keir Starmer. You know, I'm uncovering things all the time, and it's very clear that this is controlling the decisions that our politicians are making, and it has to.
And that's the thing. It's not just they've gone to the upper echelons, yeah. But it's happening because this upper echelons that these people are investigating here, yeah, it's the below as well. Do you see what I mean? As soon as you get to that police station, that man on that front desk is there to control you, to get rid of you. Do you know what I mean? So there's no investigations and nothing's put on paper. Do you see what I mean? And this is how it goes all the time. You know, but if you investigate just the simple people in your town, yeah, and do the investigation, and I just talk to people, you know what I mean, normal, you know, who you think's the best drug dealer, who's this, who's that, and they just tell you, you know what I mean? Because obviously you know, well, it's been years now since I've like been, you know, when I was a kid, I was a terrible, do you know what I mean? But I learned and I grew out of that, you know. But these people, they, you know, again, I could go in, so like, you know, I could spill so much beans. But anyway, you know, these people have gone on and on and on for centuries and decades doing the same thing in this town, and it's unreal. Do you know what I mean? And it's never investigated. And why? Because the people that supposed to investigate it are working for them, you know, because they got these benefits, you know, where they can sleep with prostitutes, where they can get the drugs they want, where they can drink all they want, eat all they want. Do you see what I mean? They're never piss poor. They get what they want. Do you see what I mean? And they're paid. You know, they call it oil and water and all of that bollocks in the lodge, but it ain't. You know, everyone, you know, every hotel in your town is working for the lodge and spying. All the money that comes into that hotel goes to the lodge. You know, every death. Yeah, you look at every undertaker, yeah, they're all Freemasons, and when someone dies, it goes through to the lodge. Do you see what I mean? Because they keep paying their dues, and the more dues you pay, the better off you are. Do you see what I mean? And you have a better life. You know, I know some work hard and that, and you know, and there's things that I don't get, and it confuses me because I think, why would you do that all day when you've got all that fucking money? Do you know what I mean? So I don't get it, but. You know, but these are the things you know, you've got shop people who are working in their shops, you know, that can be shut down within minutes, you know, because of these Freemasons controlling it, you know. But most of the people, like I said, are working for the Freemasons, and they're the eyes and the ears of these people, you know. And I'm thinking, why? You know, I don't understand it, you know. I can remember being in one particular shop that has it has green and white tiled floor, yeah, at the entrance, let me put it that way. And it was a high street shop, and I was being tape recorded there, yeah, by the Freemasons. Yeah, she was an Eastern Star, still is today. She worked in a hospital. See, that's all the same connection: hospitals, police, fucking la 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 la, you know. And that's gone back years ago, you know. And then I met like a brother-in-law, you know, at a wedding. You know what I mean? He gave me the old Masonic shake and the fucking password. You know what I mean? But, you know, he wouldn't have been helping the person in particular if he knew that the person was sleeping with his brother's wife. Do you know what I mean? But he was helping him because he was a brother Mason, but he was sleeping with his wife. That's another story. But if they're listening to this, that's for them to sort out, not for me. You know what I mean? But I have got stories like that go back that far, you see. But he was the one who's been betrayed by his own friend or brother. You know what I mean? But that didn't seem to count that they were Masonic brothers, you know. Where was I going with this? I can't remember. But everyone, and it don't matter, you know, new business. Look at new businesses that are opening up down your high streets and all that. They're all Freemasons. They're all well-to-do. Yeah, who's got the money to invest like that? You know what I mean? And then you got a question: where did they come from? These people to get their money. Do you see what I mean? How come all of a sudden you can get loans for these businesses, or where does the money actually come from? Do you know what I mean? For you to open this business so well, do you know what I mean? Where's it come from? Do you see what I mean? You know, I'm now getting on 60. I see other people the same age as me around my town, around my city, yeah, and they got nothing. They're riding push bikes. Do you see what I mean? Why? Do you see what I mean? Because they're not part of the Masonic Lodge. Do you see what I mean? And then I see the ones that are real destitute on drugs, that have been money banks for these people that run their successful businesses. Do you see what I mean? You know, you're investing drug money and shit like that into your businesses. That's cool in the gang, you know. But at the end of the day, about the other side of the foot of that, you've got people that are living piss poor, got fuck all because of you. You're not respectable. You're not nothing. You know what I mean? And that, you know, and hopefully there's something on the other side waiting for them, you know. And I see a lot of them, I can't, you know, I don't want to get too much into it, but, you know, that's what I see, you know what I mean? I see these people, you know, that have gone through school the same time as me, but they're living in great houses, they're having a great time, they've got great social life, they've got great everything, because they're part of the Masonic Lodge. If you don't, and you're not a part of that, I see the other side of the coin. Those without the temple that have fuck all, they still live in a council house, they're still trying to rub two pennies together and all the rest of it. Do you see what I mean? And I see that, and I can distinguish between that, but other people don't, because they don't see it, because you get accustomed to living in that rut, yeah. And you're not woken up to it. You're asleep. They're asleep to it. Do you see what I mean? But I see it. People like there's a football. So like certain people who are looking at football teams. Yeah, that coke dealers. Yeah, right. And they got the young kids around them. But the only kids that are getting the opportunities are the ones that belong to their families. Do you see what I mean? They're getting the opportunities. They're getting the shields. They're the ones who are being presented the awards. Do you see what I mean? While the other side of the coin, those that are not associated to them, they're not getting in the teams. They're not getting picked. Do you see what I mean? So, every level is all to do with, it's not what you know, it's about who you know. And if you don't know the Freemasons, or you're not sticking your tongue up some worshipful master's ass, you ain't getting nowhere, because each and every town is run by corrupt career criminals. Do you know what I mean? And that's as simple as that. And that's the facts. And the police ain't investigating shit, because they own all the land, they own all the businesses, and they know if they did investigate, they'd be getting wiped out. Do you know what I mean? That's the story, and that's the truth, my profane friends.
It cannot carry on. It's just horrendous.
That does sound... I'm speechless, to be honest with you. It just seems mad. What kind of world are we in which everybody is protecting all of these top entities? Even the people at the front end are just being presumably just told, do not accept this.
Yeah, it's they say that money is the root of all evil, and these people have gave themselves up to satanic rites. They're money mad, they're satanic, they're evil people. It's as Gary said, it's beyond belief. I really don't want to tell your audience what we truly know, but we're trying to encourage people to, and excuse my language, but stop paying their council tax, because you're feeding the demon.
Clearly it's all coming out now, and this is going to be a huge snowball that is going to hit them where it hurts, and this is the purpose of shows like this and many others. And I know Gary's got his own YouTube channel and is putting out lots of great content there where people can find out more information. You've brought in some bits and pieces for us to have a look at, Rob, just to run through what we've got.
As your audience knows, I don't make false allegations that I can't back up, and I like to bring evidential stuff that they can all look at. It only takes minutes to find this stuff. It's not hard to find. So if you look at Tony Blair in 2006...
Let's just bring that up here.
Yeah. Mr. War Criminal himself, Tony Blair, decided in 2006 to set quotas to social services to remove children from decent parents. You don't have to be a bad parent to lose your child currently, or since 2006, because this man, who's satanic beyond belief, he set quotas for social services to remove children from decent families.
And we've got a number of different bits from the paper
if
here.
you look at where it says problem kids, where it says problem kids.
Problem kids.
Yeah,
here we go.
So this is still Mr. Tony Blair.
The government has a duty to tackle antisocial behaviour amongst children by intervening in their families' lives even before they are born. Tony Blair has urged. That's
it gets even worse if you go into his next page, which is the next one to your right, I believe.
Is that it?
No, that's not it. Into the one to your right, which is with the green heading on top. There we go. Prime Minister said.
Prime Minister said it was possible to identify households where children were likely to become a menace to society, and take the steps, whether giving them guidance or involving social services, to stop their toddlers becoming thugs. You can predict reasonably accurately the kids and the families who are going to be difficult, he told the BBC in his first interview since returning from his holiday.
Well, we all know what the BBC's famous for, don't we? And Tony Blair's telling the BBC what they already like to hear.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so the other piece of information that came along...
See, so again, we're talking everyone they're mentioning, yeah, is Freemasons, yeah. Tony Blair, a Freemason, working for the cabal, you know, and all of that malarkey. And I forgot what I was saying. I always leave my track of my mind. Oh, mate, what was it he said there? Oh, mate, I forgot what he said. It was important as well. Right, let me go back a skek, yeah? Let me go back. What are we on? 1448. I've got to go back on this one because he said something there important, yeah? What is that? Oh, 1448. Calm down. That'll do.
Just to run through what we've got.
As your audience knows, I don't make false allegations that I can't back up, and I like to bring evidential stuff that they can all look at. It only takes minutes to find this stuff. It's not hard to find. So if you look at Tony Blair in 2006...
Let's just bring that up here.
Yeah. Mr. War Criminal himself, Tony Blair, decided in 2006 to set quotas to social services to remove children from decent parents. You don't have to be a bad parent to lose your child currently or since 2006, because this man, who's satanic beyond belief, he set quotas for social services to remove children from decent families.
And we've got a number of different bits from the paper
if
here.
you look at where it says problem kids, where it says problem kids.
Problem kids.
Yeah,
here we go.
So this is still Mr. Tony Blair.
And Tony Blair is a Freemason. I know what it is now. Now, you go to my main city, and there's a cathedral there, and there's a school, yeah? You go look at the children and the way they behave, right? They're all polite, they're all nice, yeah? And I was talking to this about someone the other day. You know, they're all kind, they're all nice, they're all well polite, and they're all well carried, and they're really good children, yeah? But the only people whose children they are Freemasons and well-to-do people. Now, you go to another local school, you'll see them smoking up the road, you know, vaping, you know, being arrogant, and do you know what I mean? This is what you get at your local schools that are the profane schools. You see what I mean? There's different education, same as Eton and all the rest of it, yeah? They're all got a different education to what your kids are learning. Do you see what I mean? Because, like I said, their kids are groomed in a different way to what your kids are groomed in, yeah? Your kids are groomed into accept prison, line up, all the rest of it, yeah? Because that's what it is. They want your kids to be the chaos within the community, yeah? They want them to be drug runners and all the rest of it, because drugs, like I said, keeps people busy. It keeps their people busy, like the Masonic police. Because once you've got rid of all the corrupt criminals, yeah, within your community, what job have the police got? They're in a job for them. So they make criminals, so criminals keep their people busy. Do you see what I mean? And that's another system you've got to understand with this Freemasons. You know, like they let people out half time. Yeah, they've just done it again, yeah? How many times they've done that over the years, I don't know. So when they do that, there's no crime. So they know by letting these people out, it keeps their people busy because they know they're going to re-offend. Do you see what I mean? Because going into jail, they earn good money anyway. So it doesn't matter when you put a criminal away, they're getting good money because the criminals are running the jails anyway. Do you know what I mean? And they're all Freemasons. Like I said, there's the Freemasons that are bringing this shit in, but they give up the profane ones that they turn. You know what I mean? So it looks like they're being caught. Yeah, we're catching the bad ones, but not. What it actually is they're allowing profane people to be caught. They're not catching themselves though. That system is explicitly to them, you know what I mean? And they're the ones doing it all, yeah? But every now and then they'll get someone else in it, yeah? And then they'll give them up, you know what I mean? Same as what they do with the drugs, you know what I mean? You know, you got a rival faction against you, you grass them up, and that's what they do here, you know. A certain person, one of my main stalkers, yeah, like I said, he dealed drug to all his kids, do you know what I mean? And their kids are all on it, they're all on coke and fucking what, crazy, yeah, but he's respected, you know, he's a hero. They go, oh, he's a good man, he's brilliant. But he again was caught by someone, yeah, speaking to the police in a police car, you know what I mean? Yeah, and everything he said to the police was overheard. Do you know what I mean? And he's a grass, but he's a hero. But he's in the top echelons with the criminals that are selling heroin and everything else in this fucking town. But he's an informer. Do you know what I mean? But no one knows about it. So everyone still think he's a fucking hero. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, and he took a girl of like a 14-year-old girl. He was prostituting her out for the heroin because she was in money. Then he took her abroad to get in a film. Do you know what I mean? 14-year-old child, do you know what I mean? Took her abroad and put her in porn films and for prostitution as well. Do you know what I mean? This is the hero within our community that, you know, has got his own kids on drugs, and their kids are now on drugs and cocaine and all the rest of it, and selling it. Do you see what I mean? This is the hero within our community, you know what I mean? And most of it, and he ain't got a pot to piss in because he's gambled most of it away as well. But that's what you're living with, Pete, and all the misery that man has made within the community. He's still a fucking hero. Do you know what I mean? But the elites, yeah, the ones, the business owners and everything else, yeah, they go to him, and he's a problem solver for them. Do you know what I mean? He'll make things go away, or he'll be involved in a murder and things like that. Do you see what I mean? And cover-ups. Do you see what I mean? And that's the what you've got, you know. And they're like, what the fuck is going on? And he's a hero. You know what I mean? A hero. Anyway, that's what I want to put about that, baby.
The government has a duty to tackle antisocial behaviour amongst children by intervening in their families' lives, even before.
By the way, he's not the only one talking to the police who's a top, you know, like I said, in the top echelons of that industry, you know, the heroin and the cocaine. Do you know what I mean? And most of them are, and like I said, they're the ones giving up people, yeah, that are profane and all the rest of it, and they're the top dealers. Do you know what I mean? And they're giving up their own people. Do you know what I mean? Or people that are a threat to them, you know, because they're scared to go away. And you know, when he got caught, he got pleaded. He go, oh, but they were after my family and my children, blah blah blah. Do you know what I mean? Which is a total load of shit anyway. But that's what you're dealing with people in this town.
They are born. Tony Blair has urged. That's
yeah, it gets even worse if you go into his next page, which is the next one to your right, I believe.
Is that it?
No, that's not it. Into the one to your right, which is with the green heading on top. There we go. Prime Minister said.
Prime Minister said it was possible to identify households where children were likely to become a menace to society, and take the steps, whether giving them guidance or involving social services, to stop their toddlers becoming thugs. You can predict reasonably accurately the kids and the families who are going to be difficult, he told the BBC in his first interview since returning from his holiday.
Well, we all know what the BBC's famous for, don't we? And Tony Blair's telling the BBC what they already like to hear.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so the other piece of information that came along is moving more locally to Hampshire is Roger Trencher, top left picture you've got there. This is Roger Trencher. Roger Trencher, believe it or not, was Hampshire Police's force solicitor. He was taken to court by a Mr. John Kane in 2019, and he was proven to have lied to the High Court. He also lied to the IOPC, and the IOPCC also lied to cover Roger Trencher. So Roger Trencher, if you look at it, it says child abuse, the next one next to Roger Trencher's picture.
Yeah, just coming up.
Yeah, child sexual abuse. Hampshire Constabulary and the Independent Office of Police Conduct have lost a judicial review in the High Court, brought by John Kane. Now, Roger Trencher was proven in the High Court, and also the Independent Office of Police Conduct were also proven to have hidden child sexual abuse. This, as Gary has proven, and as we are now proving, the system itself is rotten, it's cancerous.
And that's the thing, it's cancerous with Freakmasons, yeah? And again, if you look at the videos I just posted, and you... Look at this. There's the entertainment, all of that, yeah, what you're seeing there, the screens, the two girls, the band and everything else, that, yeah, is Masonic entertainment, you know what I mean? And that's what I've put, let the Freakmasons entertain you. Who do you think owns all the equipment and entertainment, you know what I mean? And that's what it is, they just entertain you. This is me in London, you can see that, you know, Masonic London and Tommy Robson, you know. But look at this. Look at the daycare cover-up, right? That, if you don't understand this video, right, yeah, and this is what I put, then you if you can understand this video, then you'll understand Freakmasonry 101. Look it up, the Presido daycare cover-up, and you see the amount of shush-ups by the police, by the people that are surrounding it and all involved in it, yeah. You look at the cover-ups and the shush-ups. That is your Freakmasons 101. And it don't matter what, you know, there's hundreds of cases, and again, this is where they get you, because it's isolated cases, if you get what I mean, even though it's a global problem, yeah, and it goes across every town and city, and it goes across every major country, yeah. They isolate the cases like this, because if you're only just listening and learning about this now, then I'm nailing my point to you, yeah, is that you only learn about it now because it's isolated, yeah. And it's like every case of corruption, yeah, they know they're only dealing with one person, yeah. When you go to that desk, they've only got to deal with you, that person, but there's more than likely another 100,000 people doing the same thing in other towns and in other cities, and they're being abused by the same system, which is Freakmasonry. Do you see what I mean? And this is what this is what they rely on, it all being isolated and turned down by by Freakmasons, and they shush it up. And like I said, there's different layers to the shush ups over and over again. And like I said, you're dealing with people that wear civil suits, police uniforms, and they just hide their Masonic aprons behind civil suits and police uniforms, you know, whether it's a government official or anyone else. It's all to do with Freakmasonry. Again, here they are with in the march here, yeah. Be careful who you march with, because they march with you. They look like you. Do you see what I mean? But they're not wearing their Masonic aprons. And the only people they're picking out are the instigators, and they're going to jail for a long time, like Tommy or whatever. But I think Tommy works for the other side anyway. And most of them do. If you've got a voice, then you're working for the other side. They more than likely said to Tommy, yeah, go take a holiday, which he did. He went on holiday, and we'll give you another holiday in the prison. Do you know what I mean? Don't worry, you'll be all right, because our Freakmason career police officers and prison officers will look after you anyway. Do you see what I mean? So he's in that system where the Freakmasons run it anyway, and you're looked after. Again, it's all determined by the people within that system how you're treated. Do you know what I mean? But you can, even if you're shouting about it, and you're like Mr. Wong, he got put away. Do you know what I mean? They made a good example of him, but how he's treated, is all detriment to that. You know what I mean? It's like Peter Lynch, he just got killed. Yeah, they would have been paying their criminals, yeah, to psychologically mind, F him, yeah. So he did commit suicide. So it was murder, because you got people who shut out the windows, like, let's get him, or they'll walk past your door and do street theatre. We'll get him when the door opens. We'll stab him. We'll this, we'll that, and that's what they do. That's what they did to me, the two men on London Bridge yesterday. Do you know what I mean? I come off the bridge, and then they're going, yeah, they want to stab him or knife him, you know what I mean? Fucking, do you see what I mean? But I think to myself, yeah, go on, go ahead, do it, because I want them to fucking go in and arrest these little perverts that are within my town and within my city. You know what I mean? They were grassing up each other anyway. When they actually one got caught for heroin, the statements I've seen and read, he's grassing everyone up left, front, centre, because they don't like doing bird. You know what I mean? So when they're up for a conspiracy of murder, gang stalking, and drug dealing, I don't think they'll all be keeping shh and fuck my brothers in the lodge. I'm grassing, do you know what I mean? Because that's what I'm up against, you know what I mean? A bunch of pervert Freakmasons that think they can gang stalk, drug deal, you know what I mean? You wiped this town, the amount of people you've destroyed, and people don't know what you are and what you look like, you know what I mean? You may be respectable, you might run this club and this fucking this, that and the other, but you fucking ain't, you know what I mean? And I know you ain't. Anyway, that's another story, my profane friends. Let's get back to the video. Oh, baby.
I mean, even the head of the family courts is connected very quickly.
I'm V.O.M.I.T. Thank you so much.
Wait there.
Quickly to this system of child trafficking. Very, very quickly.
Bloody hell. All that talking I've been doing. right there. Oh, there it is. That's all right. It's still going. That's all right. I thought I weren't recording there, my profane friends. Right, let me keep going then.
Produced a document on it. It's all, it's proven. There's no conspiracy in any of this now. And if the head of the family courts are involved in this, then it filters down, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100% it does. If you're going to last...
And that's the thing, it filters down, yeah, right? You think about it, right? I've been to court, yeah, and I ain't going to mention the case, yeah, but the case is I had in my hand a piece of paper that confirmed I owned this bit of property, right? Yeah, I'm sitting in the court, right? The judge is in front. Well, he wasn't really a fucking judge. It was more of a room. He sat at the top of the table, and then I sat to the left, and the other plaintiff or whatever sat to the right. Do you know what I mean? But they were involved with Freemasons, yeah, and corrupt people, right? Let me put it that way. And the property that I owned and had signature for and whatever, yeah, I had that in my hand. He go, let me look at that. He took it off me, the judge, right? Like that. He took it off me. He said, no, this case is closed. He ripped it up. He threw it. He ripped it up, screwed it in a ball, yeah, and threw it in like a waste paper bin, what was near the corner, yeah, in this little room, yeah. He threw it in there. You go, no, that's it. It's case closed. You go, boom, plaintiff win, yeah, and they won the property, yeah, and they took that from me. But again, that's the insight. What could I do? Nothing. Do you see what I mean? Why? Because if I'd have gone over the bin to get it, I'd have been arrested or they shaped, because obviously they got the security, whatever. Yeah, do you see what I mean? And that's how they do it. You see what I mean? So what can I do? I'm just a one-man thing. I'm up against uniforms, Freemasons that are hiding behind them that uniform. And they go, oh, that's like when I went to the school, yeah? My boy was playing up, blah, blah, blah. I try to do the right thing, and they're trying to take a board meeting. There's like 7 men and 3 women, I think, like a Masonic meeting, you know what I mean? I said, are you Freemasons? What's that got to do? And you can see their faces instantly changed, you know what I mean? That's got nothing to do with this meeting. I said, it's got everything to do with this meeting, because I'm being persecuted. I got persecuted, and I think my son is being persecuted by Freemason school teachers, you know what I mean? Oh, no, it has nothing to do with this meeting, you know what I mean? And I got shut down, do you see what I mean? Because you can't question it, and they won't question it because they know they're fucking Freemasons, do you see what I mean? So that's the thing, we're all small people, we've got no power, we've got nothing, and they use that uniform. What could I do against 5 men, yeah, that all sit there with suits, that have got titles and names, yeah, and women, obviously? What can I do? You know what I mean? I'm the, the chairman of the board, I'm this, I'm that, but they're all Freemasons sitting there hiding their aprons, do you know what I mean, and making decisions on my boy because he play up at school or whatever. Again, I think that's indoctrination. He's now in a special school, because he got played up and the teachers were picking on him. Do you know what I mean? And doing different things like that. But that's the way they guided him, I believe, yeah, because of me and what I do and what I say. I think they victimised him within the school, and now he goes to this, they put him into a special school, for naughty children. Do you know what I mean? But he's, what it was, he just knew how to question things, what weren't right and what, and they don't like that. They want people that are still in the school. Like I said, you question something and you don't fucking, thingy, they isolate you, do you see what I mean, and treat you as a criminal. Do you know what I mean? That's what they've done to him, basically, but that's another story, obviously. But he's now not in that school. But the ones that are conforming, marching, standing still, not saying yes sir, no sir, and they're doing the old 3 bags full sir, they're still in the school. Do you see what I mean? Because they're not questioning, they're profane. You see what I mean? Profane sheep following whatever they're being told to do. My boy obviously doesn't do that. So he gets sent to a special school, which is like a prison, I suppose. It's right out the way, you know what I mean? He has to get a taxi. But again, the people that take him, again, the taxi firm that takes him to the special school is fucking Freemasonry, you know what I mean? And again, I can't get into that, what's going on there with the taxis, but that's what I'm saying. You see what I mean? It's fucking madness, do you know what I mean? Again, they're paid well for it. But the chaos and the creation has been set by them, you know what I mean? But like I said, there's a boardroom. I've gone in there, a few men, and a few women, all got titles, all got names, all wearing Masonic aprons. And as soon as I say, who's a Freemason here, I think my son's being persecuted by, Masonic school teachers and what have you, because of what I do. I'm going, oh, it's got nothing to do with this, shush, and they're shushed up. Do you see what I mean? And that's what they do to all cases, regardless of what that is. And that's where when you go in to complain about anything and you start mentioning Freemasons, they don't like it and they isolate you and gang stalk you.
Last statement from the newspaper, which was from Roger Trencher, it says that he was proven. This is not something that we are saying. This was proven by Judge Blair, Queen's Counsel at the time. He would now be King's Counsel if he was still on the bench. So on Monday, the 30th of the 9th, 2019, at a full hearing, His Honour Judge Blair QC found in favour of Mr. Kane and ordered the IOPCC and Hampshire Police to record a corruption complaint against Mr. Trencher. After he...
And again, the IOPCC, yeah, if you do the research in it, yeah, they go, oh, they're independent. No, they're not independent, because if you research behind them and who they are, they're Freemasons. Do you see what I mean? Any group or anything that's been made within society, regardless of what that is, yeah, it always has Freemason idea behind it and Freemasonly run. You know, like the St. John's Ambulance, the Girl Guides, the Sea Cadets, the Army Cadets, the Cubs, the Scouts. It's all Masonically run. Just, I mean, the whole society we live in is Masonic, yeah, and we need to stop that Masonic influence within our lives because it's satanic. You know what I mean? You know, and like I said, that Scoutmaster that stands there in his Scoutmaster uniform is wearing another uniform behind that, which is Freemasonry, which is a Masonic apron. And again, if you go to my Masonic Increasing Armies part 7 or 8, I'll show you what the, you know, like the what the Freemasons do. If you know, do you, as you're a child, they get you to them summer camps and then you're being abused in their camps. Do you see what I mean? Again, camps run by Freemasons that own the camps. You know what I mean? Go research who owns your camps. You know, I've shown you, you know, I went to Hopton the other day, you know, and all the houses were built by Colonel Mustard, Mr. Mustard, yeah, but the holiday homes that are there, you know, for where people go to the holiday, you can see all the Masonic symbolism now being put on the rails and everything like that. And it's all Masonically run, but that's what they do. You see, they build these places and they think, you know, all about children. Can we get the children isolated and away from the parents? Do you know what I mean? Can we program them? You know, when they go to school, you got the teacher there with the white screen on. Is she putting subliminal messages across that white screen? You know what I mean? And then hypnotising your children mass on mass, yeah, professional. They learn that in the lodge anyway, like I said. And then they're giving them behavioural patterns. Do you see what I mean? Maybe they're going, right, you're going, you know, for instance, you know, he's now got detention, right? Now in detention, he's sitting there, you know, whoever it is, are they getting hypnotised in that hour and being pumped with subliminal messaging that you will misbehave, you will do this, you will do that? Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah, that's possible. You don't fucking know. And if you're listening to this and you think you know it, you're not. You don't know it, do you? You don't know what goes on in that hour's detention. And like I said, go to the schools. You see how many bits of paper are stuck over the glass where you're supposed to look in, where it allows people to look into the class to see what's going on. See how many screens now have been put over them bits of glass. Yeah, I remember all that. You know, I remember this from school days, and and it comes back to me, and I think, well, why? Why would they cover them glass? You know, for people to look in. Do you know what I mean? Is that because while they were hypnotised? You know, I remember them locking the door as well. You know, locking the door of the classroom so you couldn't get out. You know what I mean? Is that because they were hypnotising you and putting subliminal messages into you? You know, a certain amount of children, because they knew as they got older with them subliminal messaging, they would then start playing up, creating fucking chaos. So that would give their police and their officials that hide behind, you know, uniforms, jobs and things to do. Do you see what I mean? I don't know. I'm only, you know, I like I said, I'm only presuming what I see. You know what I mean? And like I said, your children go to that school, yeah, they go, right, you go that half is coming here, that half's there. They entertain, say, half of them. They get PE and the other half stays in the school, right? Or a quarter or whatever in the classroom. The classroom's isolated. They all know they've got a teacher outside pretending to read a book or do something. And then someone come along and go, what are you doing here? Go to there. And they send them away, right? So it's like a sentry. She's a sentry. They've got the man inside. He's got the projector on the wall. yeah, and then he hypnotized that class, right? Yeah. Do you see what I mean? What do you know? You don't know. The children won't know because they've already been implanted with you won't remember this, but you will remember that. Do you know what I mean? See what I mean? This is what they can do. You trust your children in a Masonic system that we don't even know what they're fucking doing with or during the day. Do you see what I mean? That's how crazy it is. And again, if you ain't sure about how fast they can induct someone into hypnosis, go look at my Masonic master grip of a Freemason or some Masonic grip of a master Mason. Look at that and see how fast they put that geezer under hypnosis, and he believes he's in another planet and another world. You know what I mean? But that's how they do it. But like I said, are they doing that to our children? Are they, like I said, all it takes is to isolate a class. You got a teacher outside the door pretending to read. You got a freak Mason inside, yeah. And then he's programming the children, and again, they know whose children's is who's who and who's what. You're going into class A, B, and you're going into class C1, and you're into D2. Do you see what I mean? They know who's fucking who within the community and who's up for who's going to get the because I used to think, when they did that, I used to think, well, why? I'm smarter than him, do you know what I mean? And he's going into a better class than me, and I used to think, why were we picked and chosen of particular classes where if aren't we all equal as we go into school? Do you know what I mean? Like you're in this class, you're in that class, yeah, whatever. But it was more of a pick. You're into this class by your brain sense, they give you that test, don't they? And that test, you're this, that, and the other. And maybe that's an acute test, right? He's too fucking smart. Do you know what I mean? We're going to have to dumb him down, so we'll put him into this class. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. Is it like that? I don't know. But I just remember having that conversation about like the people that were in the church school, the cathedral school in Norwich. They were so well behaved and polite. Do you know what I mean? And he thought, we were going on about, well, the other side of it, if you look up our schools, they're all like smoking and, all a bit aggressive and all of that sort of stuff, So there is two different educational systems, So, you look at Eton compared to a college, things like that. There's a completely different, the way they act and present themselves. You see what I mean? And again, like I said, who knows, when your child go to school, they have that little test, right? He's too smart, you're going into that dumb, we're going to dumb you down. You know what I mean? You're a dumb, so we can upgrade you a little bit, things like that. Do you know what I mean? And then, like I said, they can do the hypnosis. They got the sentry outside. You don't know what the fuck's going on. You know what I mean? Even to the extent where they could drug them for the day. Do you know what I mean? Drug them. What do you know? You don't know nothing. They're in on it. You know what I mean? They're in on it. So what do you know? Do you see what I mean? They could undress them and then redress them. You wouldn't know. They wouldn't know. The only people who know are in the know, and they're the ones who are fucking, like I said, they wormed their way into every system anyway. Do you see what I mean? So you just don't know, do you? But anyway, let's carry on.
And reviewing the evidence against Hampshire Police Force Solicitor, Mr. Roger Trenchard is still Hampshire Police's Force Solicitor, and that in itself speaks volumes.
So, this is...
And again, see, that's that uniform thing, a solicitor, yeah? You've got to trust that uniform. He's a solicitor. Oh, he's honest. Oh, he's a policeman. Oh, he's honest. Oh, he's a barrister. He's honest. But if you look at the amount of corruption that runs through everything and anything, no one's fucking honest. Social services, look. This is my forum, right? Look, go to my forum, yeah? And this is how it is. I'm not going to go all the way through this video. I'm going to end it because I think I've said enough anyway. And if you haven't worked it out, the people behind all of this, you'll never do it. But if you've got children's social services, look, you've got Norfolk social services, Scotland social services, Wales social, CAFCAS, corrupt charities and children's services around the world. Okay, there's very many points, but look at this, look. So I'll go Norfolk Social Services. This is my own Norfolk. This is how corrupt it is, yeah? Look at that. I was posting this in 2017, right? Yeah? Right? Think it's improved, or or are they still making excuses? Remember, behind every council, again, it's the council, is a Masonic lodge running your town, city. Prove me wrong. These links show how long all councils and social services within the UK will stall and get away with abuse and do nothing about it. And all done by the same people in charge. And who is that run our councils? Freemasons. Prove me wrong. Do you know what I mean? These links are on the Norfolk corruption, but if you do the right searches in any county, any state within the UK, I'm adding to this because it doesn't matter across the world anyway, yeah, the corruption within social services, you know, even if you look up charities like Children in Need, yeah, you'll see most of the money still lays in bank accounts and not even used, you know, or, you know, Band-Aid, you know, all the money goes to them, you know, it's all sliced, you know, look at Masonic charities, they're all the same, you know, but if you look, you know, 19 suspended Norfolk Children's Services workers were suspended for a range of offences, including fraud, theft, and God knows what. Do you know what I mean? I went in there and I said, you know, they used to abandon the bloody front desk, yeah? I'd walk in the door and they'd abandoned the front desk, you know what I mean? The people that you talk to, you know, used to just get up and disappear, never even spoke to me, do you know what I mean? Because they knew what I was going to say, do you know what I mean? Because I'm saying, okay, if you've got 100 people working in here, yeah, and 19, or, you know, let's just say 50 people, 19 were thingy. What about the ones that weren't caught? Do you see what I mean? The 31 people that weren't caught, you know, what about them? You know, how many are fucking corrupt working in within this building? Do you know what I mean? And then you got to look, and then on a different occasion, look, 16 Norfolk children workers, look, yeah, dismissed or asked to leave. Do you see what I mean? And and then it goes on, look, that's 35 social workers sacked already in just 2 links, look, and all done within the space of 2 months. These 2 links, these people that were sacked, that was all done within 2 months. But you ask, like, now, do you know about that? I'm going to tell you, no, you don't know about that. Do you see what I mean? Because you don't investigate it, you don't look into it. But it's more than likely the same problem within your own town and within your own city. And if you look to who's behind these people, it works out Freemasonry. But you look at that, 2 links, 35 social service workers sacked. You know, what about the ones that got away? Do you see what I mean? You know? And then it goes, you know, yeah, look, top social worker leader sacked, look, you see? Look, and apart from being rated inadequate, it's been 4 years later, yeah? That's 4 years later, and it's still the same. Why? Because it's more Freemasons given office, because it's the same people, they just replace it with, yeah? All the time. Norfolk and Suffolk Council and Police sacked for breaches of security. Do you know what I mean? Again, you know, Norfolk, it don't matter what county you are in or what state, the police are sacked for breaches, yeah? So you look at that. Do you think about that? Now, we're just talking about social services here. That's before you even get to the drugs, you know, and all the rest of it, what they're fucking doing. If you take them on, those in power will hound you out and shush it all up, which they did here. See what I come in. Hopefully, look, 2 former Norfolk councillors claim they were driven out when raised concerns about children's services. See, and that's what they do, because the higher echelons, yeah, like if I'm a policeman, just a normal policeman, and I complain about my sergeant, I'm going to get ousted out because I'm only a fucking policeman. Yeah. Now imagine me doing that against the chief constable. What chances have I got? I'm a policeman. I'm not going to complain about the chief constable. What chances have I got? I'm sacked, I'm moved on, and I'm shushed up. And that's all it is. All the top echelon people, yeah, that run this country and any other country are all corrupt criminals, yeah? And they just shush people up because the authority and the uniform that's being worn outranks you. Do you know what I mean? So you can't say nothing. And if you do say something, we're going to get rid of you and we're going to replace you anyway. And that's what happens across the board. Do you know what I mean? Another assistant director in Norfolk County Council, Troubled Children's Service Department, has made a rapid exit without serving his notice, just like the one before her. Why would 2 people working for Norfolk County Council, yeah, the children's services, leave rapidly? You know, did they see something like satanic ritual abuse or something like that? Or they see the system they were in was a fucking animal? Do you know what I mean? And it was abuse of power. Do you know what I mean? And they're going, shit this, and they've shit themselves, so got out and they kept shush about it. I don't know. Look, lying piece of shit. Any one of them, social service, can do and will do you, yeah? And they can, look. They lie, look. The legs wet strike. Except we walked out for 81 days and the services is unsafe as it was before. Do you see what I mean? And I've got all these links, all pros, you know. Look, UK children stolen away by police and social services. 5 members of staff at Norfolk County Council resigned or been dismissed over theft. Oh, it's gone, look, they shifted it up. Theft, fraud and related allegations in the last 18 months. How long did it go on for, and how many got away with it and still work there today? You see, and it goes on and on. That's just your Norfolk social services. You know what I mean? Let's not forget Theresa May appointed 3 compromised heads of the overarching inquiry into child abuse. Theresa May is Masonic. Look at her hand sign. You see what I mean? And that's what it's about, you see. Theresa May. How can I go up against Theresa May if I've got a complaint? I ain't, because you got Theresa May, then you got her police, Masonic police, and then you got all them lords and officials and dukes against me. You see what I mean? I don't hold any. What do I hold? What uniform do I hold? Nothing. I'm a profane person, and I rely on these people that are fucking Masonic, and they just don't wear their, you know, they just don't wear their aprons. Again, I can go into them, you know, there's so much with the Scotland as well, you know, again. And again, if you go, look, at Scotland, look at it, look. Social worker, con £6,000. List of road social workers stripped off for theft, child porn and selling stolen cars. Social worker sacked. Name and shame your social worker. See, look, that's just Scotland. You know what I mean? Wales, 22 children homes owned by councils being investigated. And who owns the councils? The Freakmasons. Who owns the buildings of the children's homes? Freakmasons, because they call lodges and compasses. Yeah? The whole UK is crutting and rotten to the core. You know, and I've been posting about this. I posted this. When did I post this? I don't know. It doesn't tell me. What does it do? February 2020. Yeah? I posted all this. But I've got posts way before this in my old forum, but that's another story. You know, look, this is Scotland's, look, you see, look. It goes on and on and on, look. It goes on, and they put these panels like, oh, we've got an independent investigation going on, so you think they're independent like Kafkas and all of that, but they're not. They're the same people put in place to not investigate, to make sure that the case is shushed up, but again, to look like it's being investigated on your behalf, but nothing is ever investigated. Look, Kafkas corruption, look, yeah. But again, what's Kafkas run by? Social services, and it's run by the county council, yeah. And again, all of that, but again, it's all about shushing up your children, shushing up your family, because you don't wear a uniform. You're a nobody. You're profane. You know what I mean? And we've got the power behind our uniform. You know, it don't matter what you is. We'll send a sergeant to you, and he's got anyone who sees that looks like, because he's got a sergeant uniform. But you're not dealing with a sergeant in uniform. You're dealing with a Freakmason in uniform that's covering up the Masonic corruption for the lodge. Do you see what I mean? And if that sergeant don't work, we'll send a chief inspector round. And if that chief inspector Mal doesn't classify you, we'll send a woman round. Do you see what I mean? Anything that looks good, we will send, so long as it classifies you and shush up our Masonic corruption. Anyway, you can see that on my forum all day long, you know. And I'm not just, that's not just about that. That's just social services. If you go to the top of the forum, you got what's been shushed up, and then you got whistleblowers and heroes. Yeah, these are the heroes that if you speak up, the Masonic system will F you up. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, look, murdered whistleblower, a Catholic priest. You know what I mean? And you whistleblow about them, they will kill you. They will murder you. And they've been doing it for years and years and years. You know what I mean? Yeah. And this is what happens when you do talk out about these people. They slit his throat, look, yeah? into satanic paedophilia and child abuse within the clergy. See, they slit his throat. You see what I mean? And that's what happens if the police were actually doing something to investigate crimes like major crime dealers or like drug dealers. They would be getting shot and killed and blown up. Yeah, like they did in Chicago with Al Capone, or as they do today in other places around the world. But because the police are working hand in hand with them, yeah, and they're allowed to own the clubs and the pubs and all the rest of it, the police ain't touched. Do you know what I mean? Because they're working hand in hand with them. Yeah, but if you do speak out, as I keep saying, everyone you're either put in jail. Look, Carol Woods, I don't know if you remember her. You know what I mean? She blew it up. Look, see, blew it all, and then they put her in prison. Do you know what I mean? See, falsely arrested 18 times within 3 weeks in HMP. See, style. See, she was sectioned 3 times only because she was willing to speak out against the Masonic corruption. You see what I mean? And then you got these other ones, like I said, what's been shushed up. Look at that. See, Theresa May again being mentioned. Look, you see, suppress Westminster's child abuse documents, list of Masonic sex abusers accused. You see what I mean? Goes on and on. Jill Dando, she was killed, you know, more than likely by Savile and his henchmen. See, child abuse links to Freemasonry. This should have its own section, this one. Jimmy Savile, Daniel Westbrook, fucking all of it, look. See? H5, that's a government officials, look, you see? All different, you know what I mean? Former Grand Master, look. And you think these people ain't, you know, Department of Work and Pensions cover up. You see what I mean? You speak out about these people, they shush you up. Again, another, you know, Theresa May, all these top officials, that's all there. Look, do you know what I mean? Look, how many prime ministers have we had that are top official paedophiles? Do you know what I mean? That were working with Savile, were working with the Cray twins. It all links in. You know what I mean? All of it. You know, who are they? Look, see what I mean? The Freemasons. Like I said, just go on my forum. It's all there. It's all there to be read. There's no, you know, the evidence is there, but it's getting people to watch it, look at it, and see it, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And listen to what is being said to you, like this here. You know what I mean?
A bit of a nightmare for ordinary everyday people, particularly people like our 2 ladies that are coming in a second.
Yep.
To as you heard there, Kerry was demanding that police officer behind the glass to report and make notes of the terrible things that's happened to her child, and they're just refusing. I mean, to their face, which is sort of gobsmacking, and we'll find out a bit more about that. You've got 2 other documents.
Right, and I'm going to leave it there. If you want to watch the rest of this video or this podcast, then go see it. It's just police corruption and child abduction, Richard V.O.M.I.Ts, yeah? I could layer more into this, but the thing you've got to get into your head is think Freemasonry. When a policeman stands there, he's standing there with a Masonic apron on and he's working for the system. You see a social workers turn up at your doors, they might have a nice suit on or whatever, but behind that suit is a Masonic apron. Do you know what I mean? And it's all about shushing up their system, because they're the abusers and they want to keep on directing people with their lives. You know what I mean? And like I said, the system, the school system, it doesn't matter what system you look at, it's Freemasonry, yeah? And they're making it so our kids and our children become criminals while their kids serve all right. They're they're the business owners, you know what I mean, the landowners and all that, and it's all willed by nepotism. Soon, and I think this is what's going to happen in the future, I think they're going to start dedicating like they'll give the cities to all the profane, yeah, and keep the chaos going there. And they're already moved into the villages anyway, but I think they're going to move all the profane people out of towns, yeah, and all the profane can have the cities, if you know what I mean. And you know, that'll be designated like that while they move into villages and things like that, and we'll have nothing. Do you know what I mean? That'll just be pure chaos, and they'll have the room to move, you know, where they want. You know what I mean? In certain countries, like I think they took over Dubai, I think they've already took over Switzerland, you know, things like that. Countries that have got nice plates, and that's where they go. Do you know what I mean? And they surround their people again, you know, who comes into their towns and into their cities is all watched and seen and done. Do you know what I mean? But that's another story for the future, my profane friends. I'm going to end it there. You know the score. Just think Freemasonry as you're watching videos when there's shush-ups and cover-ups and all the rest of it. It's all to do with Freemasons, and they're just hiding their aprons behind uniforms. Like I said, they're not investigating themselves. If they were, then you'd start seeing officials being killed, threatened, and everything else. You know, the people that run your town and your city, you would see them being threatened. Do you know what I mean? And they would be fearful of their life because they are doing the true work of like looking out for who the criminals are. You know what I mean? And that's the facts of it. Do you know what I mean? But they ain't, and they're safe because they're working in cahoots with the criminals. You know what I mean? If they weren't, they'd be getting killed, shot and blown up. You know what I mean? Same as everyone else. Anyway, have a great day, my profane friends. And remember, I love you all.